Now you don't need to completely remove this board. All you need to do is be able to see the back of it. Now you notice when you pull it back that the microphone is still connected, which I didn't go as far as trying to remove the microphone. I didn't see it necessary at all. But go ahead and just pull this board and flip it over so you can see kind of where your wires are and what you need to do with them. And chop this screw and pick it up real quick. Okay. Now once you get this apart, these two wires here that are running to the headphone itself, these are the wires that you're going to need to replace. Now they're soldered onto the back of this board on 2 points that are up here. Now there's a button, there's a very, very small button on the back of here. This is actually the mute button. Not the actual button you push to mute it, but when you swivel the microphone boom up, this is what actually mutes the microphone itself. So I'm sure you can't see this. I'm actually recording this video from my cell phone, so it's probably not the greatest quality. But there are these two wires that are soldered onto these points right here. Now there will be some clear kind of looks like I guess you can call it like hot glue. It's just to protect the joints from ripping out, because solder is not meant to. It's not meant to basically have any kind of weight on it. It's just meant to hold a joint together. But what you're going to want to do is just take your desoldering iron, desolder these 2 points, get all that old solder out of there. Go ahead and these old wires that you have here, like I said, they might rip, they might not. If they do, big deal, you're replacing them anyways, so don't worry about it. But go ahead and just get them out of there. On the back of the speaker itself, you're going to also want to desolder the 2 wires that are going to the back of it. Like I said, you're not going to be using this wire at all. These are the wires that are actually gone bad in my headset, so I'm going to go ahead and replace those. So go ahead and just desolder all that and get it out of the way. And then take your old wire, or actually not your old wire, but your old set of headphones that you're going to be using as donors. Make sure you get the insulation kind of back a little bit if you can. If not, don't worry about it. The solder should be enough to heat up the insulation and mount it off. But go ahead and just solder them into these same points. Keep in mind where each wire is going to, because they need to go to the same spot, because it's a negative and a positive lead for the headphones themselves. So make sure you mark, do whatever you can to remember which wire goes where. You can do one wire at a time, that way you don't forget. Just go ahead and solder those wires in. You can start either way. Doesn't really matter which way you solder from, but make sure that while you're soldering that you're routing the wires through these 2 plates. If you notice, these 2 plates are, the wires are going through them. So just put them in the same exact spots that you can. Somebody also mentioned that the size of the holes where these plates run through is actually one of the problems, which is why the wires get messed up. If you can see mine, I actually had these drilled out. I didn't know at the time, but I'm glad I drilled them out a little bit bigger, but they are pretty small. If I remember correctly, but I did drill these out a little bit. I can't remember why, but like I said, I'm glad I did, because somebody did say that the holes were too small and that's what was causing the problem. So once you're done with that, go ahead and make sure you got everything routed correctly. Put everything back together the same way that you did. Make sure you have all your screws, everything's together. Make sure you have enough slack so that you don't have any problems, and always, of course, make sure you put this ribbon back into the correct area where it needs to go. Other than that, just be real careful with what you're doing. Don't damage anything, don't ruin anything, and that should fix your problem. You shouldn't have a problem after that. I've had mine for about 3 months now since I fixed it, and I haven't had problems since then. And like I said, I use them every day for pretty much everything. So. For sake of time, I'm not going to show the reassembly. Just reassemble everything the same way that you did. For the part where you had to pry off, on the back of this plate here, you'll notice that it has like a line going through it, which is actually a cut. And then on the plate that it goes onto, it has like a little, kind of like a little support beam. And that's where that notch goes. That's where that cut goes. So make sure you get that cut lined up. and then just go ahead and push down pretty hard, give it a good amount of force, and it'll pop right back in. And make sure you put that center screw back in there so it can kind of hold it all together. But that's pretty much be it. For the, if you can't figure out how to get the padding back on, it's actually not very hard. It's pretty simple. All you want to do is put one edge going over this piece here, and then kind of work your way around. Now this piece will normally be bolted onto the headset already before the padding goes on. The padding is going to be the absolute last thing that you put on. So it's going to kind of be kind of a tight fit. You can't have your fingers back there like I do, but what you can do is take a precision tool if you have one, a flathead or a pick, and then just kind of run it underneath the padding and over the plastic plate that it's getting mounted onto. And if you got a good amount of force on the back side of it, it'll just push it all together and it'll be back onto the plate it's supposed to be onto, no problem. That's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Just comment, rate, and let me know what you thought. Thanks.